Hi, it's Steve Hargadon, and welcome to the Emergency Home Learning Summit. My guest today is Stephen Ritz. Welcome, Stephen.
Hello, hello.
Got to wave your hands again. I didn't get the screen off fast
Hello,
enough.
hello, and good morning, Steve.
Okay, so Stephen, did you grow up with a school story? What was your story about schooling as a child?
Well, for me, school community was really the essence of everything. School was not so much necessarily about education, although it definitely was, so make no doubt about it. But school was where we plotted our adventures. We created our capers. It's where we socialized. It's where we met. It's where we stayed in the yard after school until the lights went down. It's where, boys fought the girls. It's where wars were won in the schoolyard, where bottle caps were flipped and marbles thrown and basketball games won, handballs, big plots, all kinds, big sinister plots, if you will, about, things that we would do, global takeover, one community at a time, lots of chalk, lots of broken windows. But school was definitely the center of my community. And I grew up in a community where almost everybody walked to school. And then, of course, in the 60s with integration and busing and some of the social change that happened, it was a wonderful time to grow up, very turbulent, very educational, very inspirational. I grew up in one of the most integrated neighborhoods in all of New York City at that time. Then, of course, there was the Vietnam War, Martin Luther King. So much was happening when I was a child in school. But school was just awesome. I mean, my whole life, school has been awesome. I haven't always been the best student. I always haven't used school for the purposes that it was probably intended. I've been asked to graduate elsewhere more than once, so let me put that out there, by more than one or two esteemed institutions, I might add. But I loved school to this day, and that's why even though schools are closed, I'm delighted to be doing this interview with you today here in my classroom, because there is nowhere I'd rather be than my classroom or outside on a farm.
Did your parents have a school story?
Well, boy, oh boy, do my parents have a school story. First of all, I'm first generation. My father came to this country, and literally moved his family from the Lower East Side up to the Bronx in a wheelbarrow, did not speak English, was put in a high school, and they thought that my father was challenged because he couldn't speak English. So, there's that piece. My mom, God bless her, was a school teacher for 31 some odd years, started as a parent volunteer, became a paraprofessional, put herself through college, after childbirth, and, went on to become a teacher of the year in New York City as well. So there are lots of great school stories. My dad met my mom at work because remarkably, my father was in charge of the mailroom and couldn't read. And my mother was in charge of accounting and couldn't add. And one day, in the office, my father encountered this woman crying over her desk because she couldn't balance the books. And my father just looked at the numbers and said, "Hey, there's a simple transposition error." And then my mom realized that, reading wasn't his forte, but he certainly was charming, and the rest is history. And here I am, proof pudding, that reading and writing is a whole bunch of arithmetic.
That's a lovely story. What's your story as a teacher? What are you trying to do?
Whoa, what am I trying to do? My story as a teacher is, listen, number one, teachers change lives. And behind every successful adult person, business, celebrity that you will see, there is someone who said, "I believe in you." So in this age of data-driven instruction, which I am not necessarily opposed to, let us not forget the power of people. And my goal is to be that one kind, caring adult for as many children and colleagues as possible. But I'm absolutely, an accidental teacher. No teaching background, no teaching desire. I'm still waiting for the Knicks to pick me up. This is the last season I'm willing to get in shape. Just putting it out there, free agent season is on. So, the Knicks, I'm available. But, if not, by happen chance, I started teaching in 1984, that is. and haven't looked back. It's been a wonderful, tumultuous, incredible journey that I'm still enjoying each and every day. And I love the ability to get out there and make 1 + 1 make 11. That's how I do math. 1 and 1 makes 11, and the ability to change lives, to move children into spheres of personal and academic success that they've never imagined. And for me, public education is the greatest lever that we as a nation and as a world possess to end poverty and create equity. So in many ways, yes, I'm a teacher, but really I'm an equity warrior. I'm a peace promoter, a seed spreader. I'm an advocate, a little bit of an agitator, if you will, but that's who I am and that's what I do. But at the end of the day, I'm happiest in classrooms with children, making epic happen.
We're going to talk about gardening, but it does seem that gardening is a metaphor for teaching.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. You can't go from seed to harvest. You can't rush growth. You can't go from seed to harvest without cultivation in the middle. And hundreds of thousands of pounds of vegetables later, which remarkably, I still don't know the formula for photosynthesis, I might add, and no science background. The favorite thing I've grown is children. My favorite crop is organically grown citizens, graduates, members of the middle class, children who are going to college, children who are eating their way to good health, growing their way to good jobs, contributing to the planet, understanding that we are all part of a larger living, breathing ecosystem, and that, random acts of kindness in one small thing can really lead to epic proportions, from our Bronx greenhouse to the White House, from hope to the Pope. If anyone is proof of it, our little Green Bronx Machine story is proof that anything and everything is possible with passion, purpose, hope, resilience, faith, and hard work.
Oh, that's lovely. So tell us about your persona. Have you always been this animated?
Yeah, listen, I'm a little sleepy today. My day started at 2:00 this morning, so this is evening for me. But, I've always had a certain amount of energy, you might say. I'm constantly reminded of things that I did as a child that, I still tend to do now. But energy is this amazing thing. You put it out there, you get more of it back. So I feed off it. I think, like respect and love, you got to give it in order to get it, and you got to get it and keep on giving it. I always say that giving is living and living is giving. And, if we love people and use things instead of loving things and using people, the amount of energy we can put out into the universe is incredible.
So tell us about,
baby.
Tell us about the Green Bronx Machine.
Well, what would you like to know? There's so much to it, but literally, so what it is, let's start with what it is and where we're at today. Green Bronx Machine is the art and science of growing vegetables indoor with academic learning gardens aligned to Common Core Next Generation Science Standards, P21, and the Sustainable Development Goals. So what does that mean? It means we grow vegetables, our vegetables grow students, our students grow schools, our schools grow communities, and we grow happy, healthy, resilient communities, moving people who are apart from success to a part of it. What does it look like in terms of numbers? It started about a decade ago, with me, a happy cheerleader, and a bunch of overage, undercredited students, basically as an after-school program. Today, we touch 50,000 students daily in 20 states and 5 nations around the world. We are a top 10 health and wellness program in America, according to the Hargadon Institute, winner of numerous accolades. And I don't say that to impress you. I say it to impress upon you that anything can happen. And, at the heart of our work is curriculum. So we grow high-performing schools and happy, healthy children in the process. Win, win, win. People think, we are about being the salad people or the vegetable people, and that's just a small part of it. What we really are project-based learning, pedagogically oriented people that are looking to make public schools more inclusive, more healthy, and go from disruption to delivery to build local ecosystems that really build equity and opportunity, most importantly, for the local community.
So tell us about the gardens themselves. If I'm a parent or a student and my school schedule has been disrupted, what can I do at home that you've been doing in the classroom?
Oh, well, there's so much you could do at home. I mean, I could go on and on and on about gardens, how I started from a box of what I thought were onions to this amazing daffodil moment. I could talk about outdoor gardens. I could talk about creating the first edible classroom in the United States, which fed 450 students. I can show you things in my classroom, here and now. But at this critical moment, what does it tell us? Kitchen tables have become the new classrooms. That's for sure. So, the most important school supply in the world, especially during the pandemic, is food, because the consumption of fresh fruits and vegetables is the #1 preventative tool to building your immunity system. So, we don't need more crappy food. We need better food. And if children want to be happy, be healthy, and be COVID proof, eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, get your mask on, get your game on. But so I'm growing vegetables at home with kids, from little things like these amazing hamama kits, which are right back here, growing sprouts and seedlings, to elegant window gardens, to amazing tower gardens, to all kinds of things. But it all starts with a seed. But most importantly, gardening is a metaphor for so much in life. It's the ability to express your genetic potential, if you will. Seed is just unlimited genetic potential, just like children, just like any opportunity to educate. And how you express that genetic potential, how you nurture it, and how you bring that crop to an epic harvest of magnificent proportions is on you. So I like that.
So you mentioned that students, apart from success, meaning they didn't feel successful, to becoming part of success. How does that transformation take place?
So yeah, literally we started with 17 overage, undercredited children who came with a lot of baggage, whether it was foster care, adjudication, probation, prior, interactions with the law that were not favorable to them or society. A documented history of a lack of success in school for sure. And, that year we turned attendance from 40% to 93% attendance, and 100% of those students went on to graduate, and most importantly, not return to the criminal justice system. So in that regard, that benefits everybody. When 93% of our students are coming to school daily, or now it's up to 96 until COVID, of course, 100% of society benefits. When, you have a school or school systems that are perpetually failing, and move those systems into spheres of success where children are educated, graduating, and competing at a level field with those of children not in poverty, that benefits 100% of society. When you have teachers, and we have hundreds of teachers who have expressed satisfaction with the program, hundreds of principals, superintendents who really are on board, that means teachers are teaching and children are learning. And along the way, they're eating better, and becoming planetary citizens and global advocates as well. So the interconnectedness of all of this is absolutely remarkable. And it all starts with a seed. It's as simple as that.
Are there things that you think about learning that would be really helpful to parents who are struggling at this time?
Yeah. I think, I'm always impressed more by what I don't know than by what I do know. So, it's very critical for me to put out there, listen, be a lifetime learner. I am on the learning curve for life. Most importantly, this is something I have endeavored to do since day one. Is number one, it's okay to fail. Number one, it's okay to fail, and it's okay to put your hand up and ask for help. I don't believe in the I got you moment. I believe in the how can I help you moment. And, we have to create cultures that really encourage and foster people to ask for clarity, to seek deeper understanding, to grow better relationships. For me, compassion is the new curriculum. Empathy is my North Star. And project-based learning is my destination.
One of the things I've always liked about the Quaker education philosophy is this concept of a divine spark in every child. What's your belief about children?
Man, they're just awesome. They're the best. They tell the truth. I could give you a litany of things that are on my wall. Children want to be part of the conversation. Children are more curious than many adults. Children know that lies are bad. I hope a certain someone somewhere is listening to that. Kids still think cash is cool. They don't let differences divide them. They're smarter than you think. They can turn anything into a playground. They feel things as deeply as adults do. They get really excited about changing the world, which is awesome sauce. They expect honesty. They still think the simple stuff is funny. Many of them still laugh at fart jokes, which is awesome. You know, they appreciate a good story. And most importantly, President Trump, if you're listening, children can handle the truth.
It looks like you're reading off a wall. Do you have like
these are some of my principal cores that are up on my wall. But these are things I believe to my core. And at the end of the day, what I really believe is education, not asphyxiation. I don't know if you can see that, but that's what I really believe in. Education, not asphyxiation. And that all of us need to embrace our sustainable gangster. So get it on, get your gangster on, you know, and grab a hefty bow tie in the process. You know, school should be fun. School should be meaningful. School should be engaging. It shouldn't be a job. It should be an incredible journey. And that's what this needs to be. And the beauty is we have the power to do that. We have the power to do that. And now more than ever with the internet, I mean, look, I'm talking to you. Where are you right now?
North Carolina.
Hey, go figure. You know, North Carolina. You know, when I was a little boy, oh, those stories when I was a little boy, the thing that every child dreads hearing when their parents are speaking. But when I was a little boy, we watched this TV show called The Jetsons. And the Jetsons, you know, they said, one day we're going to be able to talk to people through the magic of TV. And I was like, oh, those guys are crazy. You know, I mean, I didn't even have a TV as a child. You know, the beauty of my generation is that we didn't know we were poor because no one was telling us, because we didn't have access to media the way people do now. But my big goal, you know, as a child was to have a 4-color Bic pen. Remember that blue and white Bic pen? You know, red, black, green, and blue. It was awesome. And today kids still love that. So it's really about the joy of childhood, the excitement of learning, the ability to get up and smile and do things and make mud pies and airplanes and spitballs and things that can drop out of a window and not hurt anybody, but, you know, get bigger, flying kites, going to the beach, discovering tadpoles, you know, digging for worms, putting ants on girls. Those things are fun. And vice versa. And let me not discriminate against girls, because let me tell you, I'm the parent of one, but, you know, I am raising up a crop of what I call feminist STEMinists here that are literally going to change the world. And that to me is incredibly exciting. So anything boys can do, girls can do better. And I just want to put that out there.
I think what I liked about the fact you were reading from the wall was that it meant that those beliefs were visible to your students.
Each and every day, baby. A+ for you. We're done. Thank you very much. You got it. My values are very visible to students, just like my shirt. They know where I am. They know who I am. I believe in making thinking visible. And if you don't make your thinking visible, I believe in evidencing that thinking and encouraging people to make thinking visible. Listen, I don't expect everybody to agree with me. I hope they do, but I certainly believe in the ability to discuss and respect and work together, to collaborate, to cooperate. You know, people talk about those things as being the new soft skills. I think those are really the hard skills. Content is so readily available in so many places that it's the real things, playing nice in the sandbox, working together. Those are the hard skills that we've really long since forgotten about.
Do you want to tell us about generation growth?
Generation growth. So go to the Green Bronx Machine website and please see the trailer. But thank you for bringing that up. Totally not even on my radar this morning. It goes to show you how inspiring you are. Generation Growth is a new documentary that is highlighting the growth, if you will, or the expansion of Green Bronx Machine across the country, and in particular in 6 different urban markets. Graciously funded by Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield Medicare. They actually funded the documentary, but also funded, you know, scores and scores of schools to receive our curriculum, a tower garden like the beautiful things you see growing right behind me there, And the results of that generosity, if you will, of that kindness, have had an impact of epic proportions, because as an insurance company, Anthem is really focused on the social determinants of health. I, as an educator, am focused on two things, and it's not the garden, just so people know. It's quality of teaching, quality of learning, and health outcomes for children. To me, zip color and skin color should not determine, zip code and skin color should not determine outcomes in life. And to think that children in communities like mine and across America are dying, are sick, diseased, and diseased simply because of what they are eating or not eating at all, and that can be changed overnight, is really what resonates with me. So remarkably, the kind and generous people over at Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield happened to learn about us through an episode of Growing a Greener World, episode 808, which went on to win an Emmy Award, I might add, and that's also on the Green Bronx Machine website. So I encourage you to see that as well. And literally, they were looking at the way our teaching, our pedagogy, our curriculum, which is game-changing and very, very, very disruptive. It's all subject, all content area, impacted children. And they decided to bring it across America and document the process. 2.5 years later, here we are with a documentary that is sweeping awards across film festivals, is making people laugh, cry, jump for joy, and literally has one message. Well, it has a lot of messages, but the most important message is that teachers change lives, and that America, even in the darkest of moments, we can do this. And it starts with a seed. It starts with the seed of hope. It starts with the seeds of success, which are show up, to grow up, and bring your body, and your brain will follow. So it's really a remarkable story. We're going to release the entirety of it in 2021. We're still looking at distribution, methods of distributing it. I want as many people to see it as possible, and how we're going to do that exactly still is a feat to be determined, because I'm not a filmmaker. I'm not a film distributor. I don't even play a movie star, except actually in the movie. But the most important thing is to see the growth of these children during the 2-year process. And along the way, the schools that were involved had Herculean data changes. And I believe the children are far more than the sum of their data. So let me put that out there. Data is important, but to me, children are children, and they are living, breathing entities. But the data that we were able to generate in terms of performance, learning outcomes, attendance, eating habits, through the use of the Green Bronx Machine classroom curriculum and a simple gardening class, was game-changing. And people around the country and literally around the world, we're hearing from Russia, Ireland, the UAE, Qatar, Australia, people who are dying to get their hands on the film. And we're super excited to get it out there. But you can go to the greenbronxmachine.org website, look up the trailer. It's right in, see the trailer, and then sign up to get on the mailing list, and we'll let you know when it's coming to a theater near you. Remarkably, Steve, you'll laugh. The film debuted in Indiana. At the first film festival, it was remarkably in a drive-in theater because, COVID. So how do you have film festivals? You can't do it indoors. We did it outdoors. I'm such an idiot. I'm such an on the learning curve guy that, I was so happy to go to Indiana, and I went to the drive-through, but didn't know you needed a car to go to the drive-in movie theater. I thought it was a place you went, and I was going to stand outside, I guess, and hook the speaker on my glasses. So I had to go to Indiana and rent a car. It was totally cool. But I will tell you this, when I showed up at the concession stand, and if you haven't been to a concession stand at a drive-in movie, you gotta go once. The poor girl that was behind the counter when I ordered 1,000 small popcorns for every car in the parking lot literally lost her mind.
So a lot of
that
people
could have been a movie unto itself.
A lot of people compare the sort of industrial food system and the industrial school system, and they look at the last 15 years and the way in which people have changed their thinking about food and healthy food and the impact of food. Do you think we're seeing the opportunity right now with all the disruption for a similar kind of shift in thinking about education?
Listen, crisis equals opportunity, but 2020 was the year that we blew up, that the food system blew up, that the educational system blew up. I mean, remarkably, the warning signals have been going on for years. Hello, did it really take a pandemic and 250,000 people to die for us to wake up? Sadly, I guess it has. But let us not waste this moment and let us embrace a new movement. I mean, the warning signs were there for years. Remarkably now, the ability to grow food indoors and realize here in this classroom, we grow food for hundreds of people each and every week. We're doing it with 90% less water, 90% less space. Excuse me, I got something caught in my throat. Is game changing when you think about what impact that has, not only on the children's health who are eating this food, but on planetary health. It's amazing. More than half the world's population is living in cities, so we want to bring food as close to it as equitably as possible. And also realize that gives the planet itself time to heal, time for soils to refresh, to compost. We can't keep denigrating our soil and our environment the way we have. So controlled environment agriculture is great. And at the end of the day, one of the things I'm most proud about Green Bronx Machine and the accomplishments is 2,200 living wage jobs in a community that is the poorest congressional district in America, with the poorest, one of the most challenged school districts in New York City, in the least healthy county in all of New York State. So to think that one simple little humble program like ours can go from disruption to delivery and help to partner towards 2,200 local living wage jobs, people who are doing things proactively to benefit society or the environment, is the recipe for awesome sauce. It's not about sustainability. It's about restoration and regeneration and growing something greater.
So it occurs to me there might be a parallel also with dual language immersion programs. In a lot of cases, a dual language program, the parents get excited without having to argue about pedagogy. But the dual language programs really change what takes place in the classroom. I don't think anybody can argue with growing food. So it feels as though people are going to be supportive, and then they're going to discover, oh, when we do this, all of these other benefits come along.
Oh, without a doubt. Listen, food is a non-negotiable. And let me say this again, the most important school supply in the world is food, especially if you don't have it. And even if you do have a preponderance of it, it's what you eat that determines who you are in life. For a long time, we thought it's birthplace. No, it's breakfast. It's no longer lineage. It's lunch, and it's no longer your DNA. It is dinner. It's what you are putting inside of you and feeding yourself. The fuel that you use to drive your body forward can determine outcomes in life. So there are so many things. I'm so thrilled that the Green Bronx Machine curriculum is available in multiple languages. Our school has been replicated, believe it or not, across the Gulf. We partner with Qatar Foundation International. We partner with ESOL Education in the UAE and across several other countries. We're in Canada. We're in South America. Food is a non-negotiable. And I've never met a parent in my life, English, Spanish, Arabic, Mandarin, who says, I don't want the best for my child. People want the best for their children. And most importantly, it starts with what they're putting in their bodies. Because if you fuel their bodies, you fuel their minds. And let's be real. In so many communities closer to home here in America, and communities like mine, school is one of the primary sources of feeding children. So we can't be feeding them poison. We need to be feeding them better food. We need to be feeding them environmentally responsible food. We need to be feeding them food that fuels performance, not denigrates it. I don't believe in the notion of food swamps, food deserts, quite frankly. That's a term that's been invented by the media. When we talk about urban settings, they're not food deserts. They're food swamps. We have neighborhoods filled with crap. For every one store that sells fresh food, there are 32 stores in my community that are selling, single-use packaged crap, 35 flavors of soda, 18,000 flavors of chips. You can't get a banana. It's easier to get liquor than it is to get lettuce. It's easier to get a handgun than it is to get a tomato. There's something morally wrong with that. And we have the ability to change that overnight, to think, that we are a society that put a man on the moon and retrieved him. We should be able to deliver good food to marginalized communities consistently. It's just we have to develop an appetite to do that for the benefit of all instead of the benefit of a few.
Do you want to tell people about your books?
Sure. I would love to talk about my book, which is really Number one, it's the greatest thing you could read at home. It comes with a double your money back guarantee. So I'm the author of 2 books. Number one, The Power of a Plant, which was a #1 bestseller. So you can order it off the website, the Green Bronx Machine website, because if you go to Amazon, Amazon actually sells it for less than I can buy it for with my author discount. And, you know, this book has helped us hire parents, build gardens. It is, you know, this book will make you laugh, cry, and jump for joy as well. It is the entire story of how I got started, including being asked to graduate and work elsewhere. So it's you know, it's 100% motivation, inspiration, perspiration, dedication, and a lot of good tips along the way. And then, of course, there's my children's book called Make It Happen, which is also on the Green Bronx Machine website. And I have it in upper grades and lower grades. And what I love about this book is it really teaches children how to make it happen in their own lives. And I open it up, we're talking about the fact that children inspire me way more than I inspire them. You asked about my energy. I tell the children right off, they give it to me. And it talks about the amazing places I've gone, some of the celebrities I've met, how to ask for help, how to start any kind of project, you know, how to overcome obstacles, working together. It has an awesome bibliography and reference section so children could go on the web and learn things. And, you know, by the way, for those of you who are out there, please feel free to check out the Green Bronx Machine website and social media, as well as the Stephen, S-T-E-P-H-E-N, Ritz website and social media. We try and keep it positive, engaging, enlightening, and people really love it. So follow us, join us, like us, and get involved and help us grow something greater. I always say, you know, the greatest contribution is your voice, because your voice is your choice. And if you choose to support us, you are choosing to support children. You are choosing to support teachers. And you are choosing to support equity. I always say that, you know, it's one thing to say in these day and era, now more than ever, that, you know, I'm not a racist. But how are we anti-racist in all that we do? How do we systemically eliminate the barriers to equity? It's not enough to say I'm not a racist. You know, what are you doing daily? And these books help foster that mentality. They're a lot of fun, great pictures. So there's this, there's bow ties, you know, and of course there's our curriculum, which comes with a lifetime site license, which is absolutely game-changing. People thought we were ridiculous to do it. But that's how I wanted to do it. I wanted to be disruptive. I don't believe in tiered subscriptions and annualized fees. I believe in a lifetime of learning, like I opened up, you know, this conversation with, and most of it is easily funded. So let's grow something greater. Let's work together and, you know, reach out to me. I'm available. You know, I love doing sessions with kids. This morning I was Skyping, you know, this morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, I was Skyping overseas. You know, we connect literally with thousands of children and hundreds of colleagues a week. And my goal is to grow something greater. You know, in all transparency, I'm a full-time volunteer. I don't take a salary. You know, I believe in outcome, not income at this stage of my life. And I'm just very outcome driven and determined to grow something greater. I believe there is a whole generation of teachers and students who want to change things, who really want to make an impact. And, I'm determined to carry as many of them on my shoulders as is humanly possible. And you know, I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve.
Thank you, Stephen.
You got it. I hope I answered your questions correctly.
But thank you so much.